To access Notebooklm in the Google window, simply type Notebooklm and then you click on the first link. You will be taken to the front page. Note that there is a Notebooklm Plus option. This is an option that was rolled out last week, so second week of December 2024 if you're watching this in the future. This is a paid version, so we're going to use the free version obviously, and we're going to click on Try Notebooklm. And there you are here in the user interface. If this is your first time, you will see that Google has added various different study case. Don't worry about this. I've used it before, so obviously I have something. This is a test bed for me as well. So ignore this. Settings, help, you can send feedback. They have a Discord channel. Ignore that for the moment. Dark or light mode. Your Google account, it's a Google product, you need a Google account. Option to display the notebook that you have, either in a linear way or as icon, and you can select them by most recent, title, and people can share stuff with you as well. So to start working with Notebooklm, simply press the Create New button. So again, on the second week of December 2024, Google announced some updates. Updates, as usual with Google, are rolled out progressively. Here today we're in the third week of December 2024, and the interface that you see in front of you is the old interface where I live. The new Google Notebooklm hasn't been rolled out yet, but the principle is the same. If you watch that in the future, maybe I've done another video or you have the new interface, the principle is the same. So we need to spend a bit of time on this window because it's very, very important. First of all, this shows you all the type of sources that you can provide Notebooklm with. You have a source limit of 50, so you can give it 50 different type of sources. In the advanced course that I've done, I've shown you how you can actually ignore that, bypass it, and give it as many sources as you want. But today, because this is a beginner to advanced training session, we'll just accept that you can only have 50 sources. Typical Google loading box here, you can just drag and drop files. You can give it access to your Google Drive, Google Docs, and Google Slides only. There isn't Google Sheets yet, which is annoying, but maybe they will roll it out in the future. You can also give it website links and YouTube videos. So this will not crawl a full website. If you're interested in 10 pages from a website, you will have to give it the 10 links. YouTube, from time to time, it cannot read directly from the video, but I will show you a way to bypass that as well. And then copied text. Now, what I've noticed is if you can have all your files, except those obviously, as a text file, it will drastically improve the speed that Notebooklm is working at. It's a super fast system that uses Gemini 2 as of now, but text file obviously will work better. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the Google Drive relationship, and then we'll take it on from there. So before clicking on the Google Drive button in Notebooklm, what I recommend you do is you set up a folder for Notebooklm in your Google Drive. So go to your Gmail account, click on the 9 button, click on Drive, and then press New Folder, and I will call it Notebooklm. That way I can load all my document I need in Notebooklm, and it will know where to get the data from. So now we're back in Google Notebooklm. We're going to press on Google Docs, and select my drive, and we can see that we have the Notebooklm folder. Click on that, and obviously I've got nothing, but my files will be there. So as demonstration today, I'm going to use text files, and I'm going to upload them that way. So choose file, it's on my desktop, center files, and we're going to learn everything we can about center. It's opening it, it's reading them, and let's see what's happening. So on your left hand side, you have your sources, which you have updated. I can click on them and it will tell me what's inside my file. You can see that it has already identified things that could be useful, provided a summary of the file, key topic, health departments, top production, personality, center spotting. I don't know, let's click center spotting. Discuss center spotting. So the suggestion has turned into something. And the numbers that you see are the reference that it is quoting to substantiate what it's talking about. So Ribbon can spot Santa in every country across North America. If you hold your mouse on number 2, it will tell you other things. And these come from else.txt. So it is not going on internet to try to find data. It is using the data contained within the sources to provide me with some information. Now, some options. I can copy. I can tell him that I'm happy with the answer or not, and that's part of the learning process. I can save that to a note. So when I pin that, it tells me I've got a note saved, and I can access it by clicking on it, and it will show me what I have here. So this here is that. Obviously we only have one note, but if you have 20 notes, you can see that rather than trying to scroll up and down to find where things are, you can access the notes. It says here save responses as view only, but obviously I can copy and then paste it in another document. To minimize the note and go back to the other menu that we had here, we just click here on close not view, and we're back to here. Now, the interesting thing about this AI is that it is coming up with questions that may interest us, right? Things that you may never have thought about, but is seeing a link from all the sources that you provide it with. How many departments are in Santa's workshop? What are the 3 roles of elves in a toy building department? What 3 components enable Santa's reindeer to fly? And you can click on it and it will go away, look at this, and provide you again with something. So Santa must have a magical hat, all right? Source, the 3 pieces fit together, boom, boom, boom. And again, if you're happy with that, you can save it to note. It will go here. You can click on it and it will show you what you have. You can copy it, put it in another document, make a presentation, whatever. But you can also ask it question. So here I've got a letter from Timmy. So Timmy is a boy who wrote to Santa, obviously. So I'm going to ask it, what did Timmy ask for? I'm not specifying that it's a source. I'm just asking it a simple question. And there you go. A blue bicycle, and he's again quoting the letter. If I open the letter, you will see that is that. And I can save it to the note. And he's coming back with other suggestion. What is Kringle defining characteristics? Etc., etc., etc. So This is obviously a very simple data set, and now we're going to take that to another level. As you can see here, we have options, further options. Add note, so this is what we've been doing when we save to note, but I can create one, add a note, and it's a blank note. You type what you want in there. I'm not going to do it, so I can delete it. Delete the note. I can have an audio overview, and I can have a briefing doc. The briefing doc is something that it is going to generate, and you can see it here. It is generating the briefing note as if I'm going to talk to someone and brief them on Santa Claus. Done. And I click on it, and here we go. Constructed, sections, intro, second point, detailed, third point, sentence ready, fourth point, fifth point, conclusion. Now, they are notes, they're not a text, and they're written by an AI. But to accelerate any learning process, this is amazing. Please note, in that note, you do not have references. So whereas in a note you have references, in the briefing you do not. So I'm going to close it. You can also see here that I've got a study guide. So let's click on the study guide. It's generating it. So here it's going to be how to go about studying for the secrets of Santa Claus. And again, I can click short quiz answer keys, essay question, glossary of term. It's telling you everything you need to know to do in order to become as good as possible in the subject of the secret of Santa Claus. As you can see, if you're studying, this is absolutely amazing. And again, I can copy that and I can do other things with it. No reference sources in there. Okay, unlike the note, no reference sources. So I can minimize that again. I can have an FAQ. Click on that. It's going to generate an FAQ. And because I have text files and I don't have a lot of text files, this is taking no time at all. And we can click on it. FAQ. Again, based on the data that I have here, it is generating all this. I can minimize it, I can copy it, minimize it. I can change the title if I want to. And then lastly, a timeline. And it is generating a timeline. It's trying to find timestamps in the data that I have provided it with. Now this one's going to take a bit longer because there isn't really a lot, but it's doing something. And you can see it's coming up with things. Now here, we're talking timeline, we don't have a lot, but again, if you have a product development, if you have a project over years and you want to review the progress, this is perfect. So all this is done automatically by default. Obviously, as I said, it suggests its question, but you can see that there's no limit. I don't have a lot of data here, but I can say, where does he live? Okay, let's say, who else lives with Santa except apart from the elf? Now it should be his wife and maybe the reindeers. There you go, the reindeers and Mrs. Claus. I know my Santa. But you can see that with simple data, you can also test if it does what it's supposed to do. Because there's a note here that says, Notebooklm can be inaccurate. Please double check his responses. Obviously, it's a machine, it's a learning process. We need to check. So what I recommend is every time you check its capability to assess data, especially on a simple data set like this one, give it a thumbs up. it will improve its modeling. So before we go into the podcast itself and check out the audio overview and obviously the podcast, two things I want to add. First, you're not limited to those sources. If you want to add extra source, press add source. You will get this window appearing again. And you can see here, by the way, that I have 4 sources, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, perfect. And the other point is for each of the notes made, at the bottom, you can see that it's asking me, do I want this to be a source now? And you can see that it's creating an iteration process. The feedback maybe contains something that could be useful for the source. So if I press convert to source, it's just adding this here, this note, as a source. I can then rerun everything. Well, it has done it, excuse me, it does it automatically. I can say, okay, I'm not too sure about it, remove it. And I can also say, you know what, I don't want it. Remove the source and confirm. So again, this is simple data, but you can see how far you can push it. So let's talk about the podcast aspect of things, called audio overview or deep dive conversation. Whether you click this or click this one, it's the same. Pay attention to the information icon. It will tell you a little bit more about what it is. Be aware that this is a live AI tool, so if millions and millions of people want an audio overview, the time it's going to take will change. The time it's going to take will also change depending on the data that you have. Now, the reason why this is totally blank is because I ran another overview. I ran an audio overview using what we had done before, and it created a very, very long conversation, and I want to see if the same thing is going to happen here. So I'm going to press audio overview, pause it, and come back when we have something. So let's go. And we're back, and there we have the secret of Santa Claus discussion from 2 AIs about the data that we have here. So for a little bit of context, this is, let's say, 20 minutes. This is from an improved, updated Notebooklm version. The previous one that we had would go around 12, 15 minutes. But you can see that it has 20 minutes of speech over 4 super simple data sources. The previous one, like I told you 2 minutes ago, that I ran with all the nodes, it cranked that up to 26 minutes. So the nodes were taken into consideration when the podcast was done. So if you've never heard it, this is what it sounds like.
All right, buckle up, everybody, because today's deep dives.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Is taking us, well, straight to Santa's workshop. We're going all the way to the North Pole. We're going to be looking
Like
at
the whole operation.
everything, elves,
Lots of gear.
reindeer, Santa, the big guy himself.
Right, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, this is incredible. The 2 AI voices are the best AI voices I've ever heard. And I've been trying to get good AI voices for a long time. They're crisp, they're clear, they're articulated. The hosts talk, having a banter. You can tell that they're happy to talk about Santa. This is absolutely incredible. This is truly absolutely incredible. So, as always, if you're happy with it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not happy with it, give it a thumbs down. You can download the audio file, buttons there, change the playback speed. Why would you do that in our case? You don't need to. You can delete it. From time to time, the man will start talking first and then the woman second. Here we have the woman talking first, the man second. It doesn't matter. But what is absolutely incredible is if you don't like that version and you want just to have a quick version, you can just say, nope, don't like it, delete. It's going to delete it. And then you go back through the generation. Customize, I'll talk about it in another video when we look at advanced to Pro, regenerate it. So I'm going to generate it again, and we'll come back when we have a new podcast. And we're back with the new audio file, which is 4 minutes shorter than the previous one. Same thing, I kept that, and let's listen to it and see how different it is from the previous one.
Welcome, everybody, to a deep dive that's extra special, even for us.
Was that right?
We are going behind the scenes
Okay.
at Santa's workshop.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can hear immediately this is a little bit more conservative, I would say, with regard to the excitement compared to the previous one that we had. The previous one that we had were two kids talking, basically. They were giggling, they were super happy, super bright, super joyful. This is a bit more tame. But again, you can see that just refresh, repeat the thing until you have what you want. And again, I do it this way because let me delete it. In the next video, when we go from advanced to pro, you can do all this directly from here. So that's it for this video, who took you from a beginner to an advanced user of Google Notebooklm. It's an amazing tool. Use it, you will never be disappointed. And I will see you in the next video when we go from advanced to pro. Ciao!